People often ask me where discipline comes from. Is it a matter of genetics, sheer willpower, a flash of motivation that magically strikes at the perfect moment? It's a fair question, and a common one. After all, we tend to view discipline as this elusive quality, something that some people are simply born with, while others are destined to chase it forever. But here's the truth, as I've come to understand it through years of personal experience, dedicated research, and careful observation. Discipline is not a personality trait. It's not an inborn talent or a genetic lottery ticket. It's not a product of luck, circumstance, or upbringing, although those factors may influence the starting point. What discipline actually is, at its core, is the skill. A learnable, trainable capacity rooted in the biology of your brain and nervous system. And like any skill, it's something that improves through consistent, intentional practice. If you have any thoughts about this, we'd love to hear from you. Your feedback is essential to us, as it helps us grow and improve together. Thank you for being such an integral part of our community. For those who haven't yet joined, we invite you to become part of our family and share in this journey of growth and discovery. Let's take a deeper dive into the science of discipline, beginning with the brain, specifically the prefrontal cortex. Nestled just behind your forehead, this area of the brain is crucial to self-regulation and the formation of disciplined behaviors. The prefrontal cortex is often referred to as the brain's command center for executive functions, which include things like planning, regulating emotions, controlling impulses, managing attention, and making complex decisions. It's essentially where all the cognitive control resides. This region is the driving force behind what we recognize as discipline. For instance, consider those everyday moments when you actively make decisions that require discipline. Resisting the urge to scroll through your phone while working, forcing yourself out of bed instead of hitting the snooze button for the third time, choosing to eat a healthy meal over something quick but unhealthy, or having that difficult but necessary conversation you've been avoiding. All of these actions are powered by the prefrontal cortex. Here's the catch. Every time you make a decision that requires discipline, your brain undergoes a sort of mini workout. These moments aren't just simple acts of willpower. They are opportunities for your prefrontal cortex to strengthen. Much like how physical muscles don't grow unless they're challenged, your ability to make disciplined choices won't improve unless you put your brain through regular exercise by consistently choosing the more challenging but necessary action. When you engage in these decisions, you're essentially training your prefrontal cortex to become more effective at handling complex tasks. It's through repetition and consistency that the brain adapts, just like muscle growth after repeated physical activity. The more you practice resisting short-term temptations and making thoughtful, long-term choices, the stronger your capacity for self-regulation becomes. And here's the kicker. The prefrontal cortex, while incredibly powerful, can be trained and conditioned like any other muscle. It becomes more adept at making disciplined decisions with time, training, and a consistent effort to do so. Every instance where you exert self-control or engage in a challenging task isn't just a moment of discipline. It's the strengthening of your brain's ability to handle future situations that require even more discipline. This is why the more you use it, the better you get at it. In other words, discipline is not just an abstract concept. It's a skill, a learned behavior that improves with constant use. And like any skill, the more you practice, the more instinctive it becomes. Just like lifting weights to grow your muscles, exercising the prefrontal cortex strengthens your discipline and your ability to focus, plan, and make decisions, ultimately becoming a key factor in achieving your goals. This concept is deeply rooted in neuroplasticity, which refers to the brain's incredible ability to reorganize and form new neural connections throughout an individual's lifetime. Neuroplasticity enables the brain to adapt to new experiences, challenges, and learning opportunities by physically reshaping its structure. This ability isn't restricted to childhood. It continues throughout adulthood, which means that no matter your age, you can train your brain and improve your mental capabilities. When it comes to self-discipline, the prefrontal cortex plays a central role. It's the part of the brain located just behind the forehead and is responsible for many critical functions, including decision-making, impulse control, and regulating emotions. These are the very skills that contribute to discipline. The more you engage this part of your brain, the more you strengthen the neural pathways responsible for executing these functions. To illustrate how neuroplasticity works in the context of discipline, imagine you're working to develop the habit of waking up early. Initially, the task seems nearly impossible. The comfort of your warm bed feels irresistible, and the sound of the alarm seems like an enemy. Your brain starts bombarding you with tempting thoughts. Just 5 more minutes. I'll get up after this snooze. These urges are driven by your brain's habitual pathways, which have been reinforced over time to favor comfort and rest. However, each time you push through the resistance and get out of bed, you are making a powerful impact on your brain. You are essentially creating a new neural connection, one that aligns with your goal of waking up early. The more you repeat this behavior, the stronger these new pathways become, while the old, lazy pathways weaken and fade. Over time, the act of waking up early becomes easier because the brain has literally rewired itself to support that behavior. This process doesn't happen overnight. At first, you may still feel resistance, and the urge to return to bed might be strong. But as you continue to act in alignment with your goal, your brain becomes more adept at handling the challenge. What once felt like an immense struggle will eventually become second nature. The alarm goes off, and before you even think about it, your body instinctively starts the process of getting up. This is the power of neuroplasticity at work. Your brain has adapted to the new habit. Over time, what began as a challenging and unnatural task transforms into a habit that feels effortless. It's no longer a battle against the snooze button, but a seamless part of your morning routine. This same principle applies to any discipline you wish to build, whether it's sticking to a workout routine, eating healthier, or even managing your time better. With each act of self-control, you are training your brain to make the right decisions, reinforcing behaviors that support your goals, and weakening the neural pathways that lead to procrastination and self-sabotage. The magic of neuroplasticity shows that discipline isn't a trait you're born with. It's a skill you develop over time. And the more you practice, the easier it gets. Your brain becomes increasingly efficient at navigating the challenges of self-discipline, turning them into automatic behaviors that support your long-term success. So, no matter how tough the journey may seem at the start, remember, with every decision, you are reshaping your brain, one habit at a time. Now let's talk about discomfort. This is a word that tends to make people recoil. The moment it's mentioned, many think of pain, hardship, or unnecessary struggle, and they instinctively shy away. But here's the twist: discomfort is not the enemy. In fact, it's your greatest ally in the development of discipline. Let's rethink how we view discomfort. What if, instead of running from it, we embrace it as the powerful tool it truly is? When you deliberately place yourself in situations that require effort, restraint, or discomfort, cold showers, fasting, early workouts, deep work sessions, you're not just suffering for the sake of it. You're engaging in something far more profound. You're activating your brain's executive systems, essentially training your nervous system to stay calm under stress. Your body and mind receive a clear signal. I choose this. I'm in control. And in this seemingly simple act of choosing discomfort, you begin to unlock a deeper layer of discipline. This concept is often misunderstood. Discipline isn't about punishing yourself. It's not about masochism or austerity for its own sake. Rather, it's about becoming the kind of person who can do what needs to be done, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. It's in these moments of discomfort that you truly reveal your capacity for growth and self-mastery. When you choose discomfort, you're giving yourself the gift of rewiring your brain. It's a form of mental and physical exercise. Whether it's enduring the cold in a cold shower, pushing through a tough workout, or staying focused during a long, demanding task, you're teaching your mind that it can handle discomfort without falling apart. It's not about avoiding the struggle. It's about thriving in the midst of it. And here's where it gets interesting. Discomfort becomes the muscle that, when exercised regularly, builds resilience. Each time you face something uncomfortable, you strengthen your ability to cope with stress and adversity. Your resilience isn't built in moments of ease, but in moments where you push beyond your limits, where you lean into discomfort instead of running away. As you train your brain to handle discomfort, you begin to notice that life's challenges no longer seem so daunting. What once seemed impossible becomes more manageable. This is because your neural pathways, which once resisted discomfort, now welcome it as an opportunity to grow. The more you expose yourself to discomfort, the less it controls you. Instead of resisting hardship, you begin to see it as an opportunity to expand your capabilities. And here's the secret. You don't need to subject yourself to intense or extreme discomfort to benefit from it. Small, deliberate doses are enough to start shifting your mindset. Whether it's choosing to wake up earlier than usual, cutting down on distractions, or engaging in a task you've been avoiding, each choice builds momentum. Over time, you'll find that discomfort no longer feels like an obstacle, but a necessary stepping stone in your journey toward personal excellence. So, the next time discomfort knocks at your door, don't shy away. Open it, embrace it, and let it teach you what it means to be truly disciplined. The growth you seek lies on the other side of discomfort, waiting for you to claim it. Neuroplasticity lies at the core of understanding how discipline operates. It reflects the brain's remarkable ability to change its structure and function in response to experience. With every disciplined choice you make, whether it's resisting temptation, completing tasks despite reluctance, or pushing through discomfort, your brain reinforces specific neural circuits. These actions literally rewire the brain, making it more capable, focused, and resilient. The process is not just psychological, but also biochemical. When faced with challenges, the brain releases a blend of neurochemicals: dopamine, norepinephrine, and epinephrine. These chemicals serve distinct purposes beyond pleasure or stress. They are essential for focus, motivation, and readiness. Dopamine plays a pivotal role in encoding reward and motivation. Norepinephrine heightens alertness, and epinephrine, or adrenaline, primes the body for action. The more you expose yourself to challenges and discomfort, the more your brain fine-tunes its release of these chemicals, enhancing their effectiveness. This explains why people who regularly practice discipline often find themselves more focused and motivated, not only in the area where they cultivated self-control, but in other aspects of their lives as well. The ability to discipline oneself in one domain spills over, creating a general sense of self-regulation that applies to various parts of life. Neuroplasticity, therefore, shows that discipline is not an innate trait. It's a learnable skill that improves with consistent practice. As you continue engaging in disciplined behaviors, you strengthen and refine the neural pathways that support focus and self-control, making discipline easier to maintain over time. This rewiring of the brain forms the foundation for long-term growth, shaping your ability to persevere, resist impulses, and tackle future challenges with increased resilience. Every small moment of discipline, every uncomfortable but intentional act, is not just shaping your behavior, it's shaping your self-image. Every time you push through the temptation to procrastinate, every time you hold yourself accountable, every time you choose to do what's hard instead of what's easy, you're not just building habits, you're melding your identity. It's like crafting a sculpture. The more deliberate and precise the actions, the clearer the final form becomes. Each decision, each disciplined action adds to the masterpiece that is your character. And this transformation is profound because it isn't just about performing tasks. It's about changing the story you tell yourself about who you are. This internal narrative begins to take hold, gradually evolving into a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you consistently tell yourself that you're someone who stays committed, who doesn't settle for less than their best, the brain starts believing it. It begins to internalize that self-image and guide your behavior accordingly. The narrative of persistence, responsibility, and resolve becomes your default mindset, and in turn, your actions begin to align with that story. At first, it may feel like a struggle, like you're pretending to be someone you're not. But the truth is, you're not pretending, you're practicing. And over time, these small acts of discipline become less of a conscious effort and more of an automatic response. It's like building muscle. The more you work it, the stronger it gets, until what was once a forced action becomes second nature. As this process continues, something shifts within you. Your standards change. You start holding yourself to a higher level of accountability, not because you have to, but because it's who you've become. You begin to expect more from yourself, and in turn, you start delivering more. The beauty of this is that it doesn't just end with actions. It extends to the way you think, the way you handle challenges, and the way you approach life in general. You don't just do disciplined things. You become a disciplined person. This shift in identity is where true transformation occurs. Once you see yourself as someone who takes action, who follows through, and who rises to meet challenges head-on, Your mindset shifts from a place of constant effort to one of inherent strength. Your internal narrative propels you forward, and you begin to embody the very essence of discipline without even thinking about it. In this way, discipline no longer feels like a chore. It becomes a natural part of who you are. And as a result, you not only achieve your goals, but you elevate the very standard of your life. This is why repetition matters more than intensity. You don't need to exert yourself to the point of exhaustion every single day. What truly matters is consistent effort, the kind of deliberate practice that compounds over time. Think about it. A cold shower, a walk without distractions from your phone, a single hour of focused work. At first glance, they may seem trivial, but they aren't. They are the small foundational actions that lay the groundwork for a stronger, more intentional version of yourself. Discipline isn't about perfection. It's not about being flawless every moment of every day. That's an unrealistic standard, and frankly, it's not necessary. Discipline is about building a pattern of actions, a rhythm that aligns with the person you want to become. When you consistently choose to engage in practices that support your goals, you're reinforcing your identity with every choice. Every time you make that small, seemingly insignificant decision, whether it's turning off the TV to focus on a task or taking the time to meditate for 5 minutes, you are sending a powerful message to your subconscious. That message is simple yet profound. This is who I am. This is who I choose to be. Each action, no matter how small, affirms that you are the kind of person who shows up, who follows through, who puts in the work, even when it feels mundane. Over time, these repeated actions start to shape you into a more disciplined, capable individual. It's easy to think that the path to success requires massive, heroic feats, but it's not about grand gestures. It's about doing the small things consistently. The magic lies not in how intense you are on any given day, but in how reliably you show up, how much you repeat the process, and how committed you are to the long-term journey. That's where true growth happens, incrementally, gradually, and with steady compounded results. So, the key to developing discipline is to focus on those everyday actions. Embrace the process of repetition. Trust that it's not the intensity that transforms you, it's the consistency. Make choices that reinforce your commitment to your goals, and over time, you will not only achieve them, but you'll embody the identity of someone who is disciplined and capable. Timing matters too, more than most people realize. There's a unique window of opportunity early in the day, particularly within the first hour after waking. Your brain is more malleable during this time. Your nervous system is especially receptive to the signals you give it. If you start your day with intention, even just a little, you're sending a powerful message to your brain. This is who we are. You're not just checking off a task. You're anchoring a mindset, and that mindset sets the tone for everything that follows. Every morning, I intentionally introduce some form of physical discomfort into my routine, whether it's cold exposure, brief work, or a workout. It's not about punishing myself or proving something to anyone, least of all myself. It's about cultivating presence in the moment. It's a way of telling myself, I lead my day, my circumstances don't. It's a mental declaration that I am in control, setting the tone for what's to come. Once I've anchored myself in this practice, I transition into creating a mental and physical container for focused work. This is a no distraction zone, no phone notifications, no emails, no side tasks that pull me in different directions. It's about immersing myself completely in one thing. That single-minded effort allows me to reconnect with my capabilities. I remind myself what I'm capable of when I focus. I challenge myself to push past comfort zones, embracing discomfort as part of the growth process. And here's the key, that feeling, that sense of accomplishment and strength, doesn't just stay in that moment. It carries with me throughout the day, influencing my decisions, my energy, and my attitude. Discipline becomes the foundation upon which everything else is built. When you start your day with discipline, when you've embraced the discomfort of doing something difficult right out of the gate, it sets the momentum for the rest of your day. Doing one hard thing in the morning strengthens your ability to make decisions and face challenges. But more importantly, it sends a powerful message to yourself. You can handle hard things. That message sticks. It boosts your confidence and determination, becoming an invaluable resource as the day unfolds. You're not just surviving the day, you're leading it. By the time the evening comes, you realize that your morning practice didn't just fill you with energy. It instilled a quiet confidence in your ability to handle whatever life throws at you. And that, more than anything, is what truly shapes how your day will go. Let's break this down. Discipline isn't about being perfect. It's not about being a machine who never stumbles or faces setbacks. Discipline is about showing up time and time again, especially when you don't feel like it. It's about doing the work even when your motivation fades, and it's about rising after you fall. Failure is not the end. It's part of the process. If you feel distracted, unmotivated, or like you can't stick to a routine, that's not a reflection of your character. It's not because you're lazy or broken. It's simply because your brain has developed patterns that don't serve you. And the best part? These patterns can be rewired. They can be reshaped and reprogrammed to align with the future you want to create. Here's the kicker. You don't need a shiny new planner. You don't need the latest productivity app. You don't need to binge read 10 more books on habits and motivation. What you need is something far simpler but far more powerful. One small act of intentional resistance every day. Just one. A single choice where you say to yourself, I'm in control. Not my impulses, not my past, not my comfort zone. Start small, not a full-blown life overhaul. Just one small step, one tiny moment of discomfort, because that's where discipline begins. It may seem insignificant in the moment, but this is how you build discipline, with small, consistent actions. Every day, you make a choice to do what you've committed to doing, even when it feels hard. These small, seemingly insignificant moments of showing up on purpose, of doing what you said you'd do, are the seeds of real change. Discipline doesn't grow from one giant leap. It grows from repeated, consistent choices, small choices, stacked up one after another. And over time, those small choices add up. Start tracking your progress. Keep a simple journal to document what you did each day, when you did it, and how you felt. Not to chase perfection, but to become more aware of your actions and thoughts. Reflection is the fuel that drives reinforcement. It helps you recognize progress that might otherwise fly under the radar, because growth isn't always flashy. It's not always dramatic. It's subtle. It's silent, but it's happening. And when you track it, you honor it. You acknowledge the small victories and celebrate them, because that's how you build momentum. Momentum isn't about achieving every goal on day one. It's about stacking one small win on top of another, layering tiny actions and choices until they become automatic, until they become a habit. And then, one day, you realize, this is who I am now. Discipline becomes a part of your identity. It becomes the lens through which you view the world, the way you navigate challenges, and the foundation upon which you build your success. It's not about grandiose feats or monumental efforts. It's about showing up every single day, choosing to take one small step. Over time, those steps lead you to places you never imagined. This whole framework, discipline as a skill, discomfort as training, identity as outcome, it all leads to one liberating truth. You are not stuck. You're not doomed to procrastination. You're not wired for failure. You're not inherently unmotivated. You just haven't trained your system yet. Discipline can be built. It can be practiced. It can be improved with the same process you use to learn anything else: repetition, feedback, and patience. It won't happen overnight. You'll slip up. You'll face resistance, but that's part of the path. Each setback is a chance to reaffirm your choice. Do I give in or do I recommit? That's what separates the disciplined from the undisciplined. Not talent, not upbringing, but the decision to keep showing up. You should keep in mind that discipline is not about rigidity. It's not about deprivation. It's not about living a life of constant struggle. Discipline is about freedom. The freedom to choose your response instead of being run by your impulses. The freedom to pursue what matters most instead of being pulled by what's easiest. The freedom to live with clarity, confidence, and courage, even when it's hard. And that freedom, it's earned, moment by moment, choice by choice, not through grand gestures, but through the quiet decision to act with intention, again and again and again. That's where real discipline comes from. Not from waiting until you feel ready, not from waking up one day magically motivated, but from making one small, deliberate choice to step into discomfort, to lean into effort, to honor your potential, not in theory, but in practice. Do that and you'll begin to build something that no one can take from you. The unshakable belief that you are capable of doing hard things, and that changes everything, not just what you do, but who you become. If you have any thoughts about this, we'd love to hear from you. Your feedback is essential to us, as it helps us grow and improve together. Thank you for being such an integral part of our community. For those who haven't yet joined, we invite you to become part of our family and share in this journey of growth and discovery.